Yeah, he was with Seattle with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, that's what he was. Dan Quinn's OC.
But he also prioritized and pretty much quarterbacks protecting the ball. Remember when Russell was at his best and he was protecting the ball over there in Seattle? Schottenheimer was at the helm a little bit. So, but I mean, Schottenheimer is not going to be the guy that I think a lot of people think he is. I think it's coming out of Mike McCarthy, man.
Yeah, I think Jerry told Mike, "You've been bitching about Kellen Moore. Let me see what you got." Pretty much.
I respect it.
So Schottenheimer's kind of there as like a title holder, you know.
Scheme. I think he'll do scheme fits, you know, things like that.
Right. But I mean, you got to name someone OC. Do you like the move, like in general?
I mean, I would say this. It makes sense if the conversation went the way we thought it was, like you just said, and McCarthy comes in there and it's like, let me do my thing. Then I think at this point he wants ultimate control. You don't bring another guy in here, just different views or different scheme from what you're doing, and then you're up in the same situation again. So with that being said, you got a guy who was already kind of familiar with what you do, who's already in the role. You don't need to change much. You need him to just be there. And then Mike McCarthy, I respect it. He's willing to down his shield, man. And you know, I mean, one thing we can say about him, he has a good history. That West Coast offense, you know, some of Aaron Rodgers' best years. We've seen what he was able to do. Aaron Rodgers, people don't give him enough credit that you know, a lot of his development came from Mike McCarthy, man. So what can he do with Dak being on a more hands-on role? It's something I'm excited to see.
Are you nervous at all? Like I guess my thought process is Dak's been in the league for what, 7 years now, I believe, and he's pretty much ran one system or played in one system. And I do feel a little nervous about switching systems on him, but I mean, quarterbacks do it all the time. I know Dak can handle it, and I think and I hope that Mike McCarthy can play to his strengths, because I don't want to start throwing the ball 35 times, and that's a regular thing. Kind of like what McCarthy did with Rodgers over in Green Bay. You know what I mean?
I'm not too nervous, man. I think the biggest takeaway from me, right? I'm not too concerned with Dak. I know Dak is a smart guy. Take away some of the decisions as far as like going here, going there. You remember early in the season where I think Dak had to go through too many reads. And sometimes I think it was a knock against him himself, because sometimes he just tried to do it all. You know what I mean? Sometimes we don't need him to do it all. I think this West Coast offense gives him a chance to just drop back, be quick in his decisions, be precise, run when need to, you know what I mean, make quick decision making. I think the main thing I like is just having a veteran presence in this area. I don't think Mike McCarthy could really tell him too much from a scheme standpoint of what to look for here and there, because it wasn't a scheme. But being, you know, now this being his thing and his baby and how he wants to develop it, I'm interested in seeing that relationship and, you know what I mean, what type of course that'll take, man. So I'm not too concerned with Dak. I'm just hoping next year, like, this turnover problem, like, do you think this is something that's going to stick around, or like what type of effect that would be, man, and just moving to the next year? That's the only thing that concerns me with Dak, but I believe he can bounce back.
I think McCarthy, so just what I'm picturing in my head, I think Kellen Moore really tried to complicate things and run fancy stuff. I think Mike will probably simplify things offensively, and it'll be less crazy, less hectic, you know? So I do think that'll help in the turnovers. I just hope Mike McCarthy can shore up the penalties, because that's 2 years in a row of nonsense.
Cool, man. So, I mean, yeah, it was better, but I get it. I guess you can't say we're the most disciplined team. But so as we go deep into the offseason, you ranking draft needs. I know kind of what I'm thinking. What's top on your list? You know what I mean? As we roll into this thing, what you thinking position wise? Needs, top needs.
Oh, position groups. Draft and need offensive line.
Offensive line.
Defensive tackle. You know I like the trenches.
So I'm on the flip side of this. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm thinking, man, get CD some help, man. I think, you know, me going to it. I hate to go wide receiver first round. I get what you're saying there, but maybe in the deeper rounds or maybe even free agency. I just want to find somebody. Like, we did get the Trayvon Diggs news. It came out. You know, he had the little recruitment. Stefon Diggs. We seen what they had going on in Buffalo. He was kind of a Josh Allen face a little bit. Is he unhappy over there? If we could pull that clip up, let Cowboy Nation determine what y'all think about that, man. But we need somebody in here. I'm not opposed to a D-Hop or somebody, you know what I mean? But it sucks losing Amari Cooper, man. And just saying, we'll touch on Trayvon Diggs a little bit more, but we have Micah Parsons here talking about the Amari Cooper situation.
everyone else wants a receiver, we might as well get a receiver too. Like the money, like you got to spend the money. Like why not spend it? Like
With Amari Cooper getting traded last year, and then we saw what happened with the receiver market. Was there any talk in the locker room like, why'd we move Amari? $20 million is nothing. You got guys kissing $30 million now.
I still don't understand the Amari situation, and I ain't asked enough questions to figure out what was going on and why that happened. But I love Coop, and I love what he brung. Hopefully, we get somebody his caliber again. You know, he's a man. I don't understand.
Talk about it. What you think?
Now, Micah makes a good point. Obviously, he's not privy to the things that happen behind the scenes, and I don't think we'll probably really ever understand what the deal was with Amari Cooper. I know Amari has kind of come out and said pretty much like he wasn't playing the politics game with Jerry, but for like a Stefon Diggs, what would we have to give up for that? He went for a 1 previously. Is he still worth a 1?
I think so. Stefon is a top 5 receiver. It just sucks that you trade away Amari. So it's like before we can address the Stefon Diggs, which we will, I think it's worth a 1. But yes, I think it was. I think it had something to do that was completely not even football. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just to see that rear his head in the biggest stages, leaving Amari Cooper. But I like the fact that Micah Parsons is man enough to speak about it. You know what I mean? So many people in this position, even Dak, we haven't heard Dak say one word about Amari Cooper.
Right.
Not even voice his opinion and say, this is my guy. But I've heard CeeDee Lamb come out and say, this is my veteran experience. I don't understand it. I miss my guy. I still talk to him. We see Micah Parsons come out and say, I don't understand it. Nobody knows. But the one thing I can say that confused me the most is Jerry comes out and says $20 million was too much. You don't save $16 million, right? Just to go pay Gallup $12 million. How you gonna sell me on that? That's I think where it went wrong for me, man. You don't trade a guy that caliber.
Especially when I feel like Cedric Wilson would have been a better re-sign than Gallup. And that's nothing against Gallup. I just think the injury, you don't know what's going on. But Ced had finally started to show that he'd been developed into breakout. Just to let him go when the going got good. I want Ced back, like bad.
Yeah, for sure. I'll take him in that.
And they don't even use him in Miami.
Nah. I mean, who knows, man? Maybe he want to come home, man. But as far as Stefon Diggs, right? What am I willing to give up for him? Now, it comes into play that, you will have to pay him again. I'm not sure how much he got on that contract. But I know he received a deal with like 3 seasons ago. So I'm willing to bet. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I believe he had a 5-year deal. Probably got 2 more years left on it, something like that. So you get a guy like that. I'm willing to trade a first for him. We already picked 26, I believe. So I mean, it depends what type of guy you think you can get at that point. Am I willing to trade Amari Cooper? I'm sorry. Am I willing to trade for a Stefon Diggs? I would. You know what I mean?
I've got
30-year-old receiver though.
I got his contract pulled up here. Jesus. So it looks like he is under contract until the end of 2027.
I was wrong.
And he's still due potential out in 2025 with $18 million in dead cap. So the only downfall with Stefon Diggs is, let's say we do give up a number 1 pick for him, which I don't like the idea of a 1. But then who do we not get to re-sign out of our playmakers in order to keep him?
See, I think I'm starting to see that being debunked, right? We see all around where these teams are paying their quarterback $40 million. They paying for weapons. They paying for their guys, man. So I think they can make space if they want to. I think you can sign a Diggs. I think if you think about it, like you cut ties with Schultz, that's $10 million right there. You move on from a Tyron Smith, get him off the books, and you cut ties certain areas, man. You know what I mean? You got to make the sacrifices, but you pay your guys, and then Dak restructuring that contract once again, they can make room for it. You know what I mean? And I think the beauty of that deal versus us when we traded for Amari Cooper, we still had to pay Amari. So we had to trade the pick and then pay him. But seeing him on a contract to 2027, that's almost like that's a 4-year deal. You give up a pick, you don't worry about it no more, man. And you know what I mean? If you want to put Dak in a position to win, we've seen what type of quarterback Dak is. Like Mahomes, he can do Mahomes things. He may not need it all. Dak, I think we
Right.
know what Dak is. He needs some help, man.
I agree completely. I think, and I keep saying it, and I'm gonna keep saying it. I want Jacoby Myers bad in free agency. I want that bad. Get Jacoby out there. Got CeeDee Lamb, Noah Brown when needed, and then Gallup when needed. To be honest with you, but I think Jacoby, he can come in and be a great number 2 because he's doing number 1 things over in New England. He just didn't catch a touchdown for like 15 games or whatever it was a couple of years ago, so he doesn't get that recognition. True. But he's a baller,
Yeah.
man.
In the run first offense,
I like that
too.
a lot.
I like Jacoby. I got one other guy.
Who you like?
What would you do for T. Higgins? The downside of that, obviously, you have to pay him too. But would you be willing to give up a first for him opposed to Stefon Diggs, him being a younger guy, maybe with more of a ceiling to reach at this point?
I don't think that's a possibility because a similar situation, the Bengals are going to have to let him go to make room for Chase.
Fair point.
And that's kind of the similar situation we got with CD. And I don't know who's better. I mean, T. Higgins is a number 1. He just happens to be a number 1 next to a really good number 1.
Great,
you know? Right. So that's complicated, but I think it's a disservice. And they got Tyler Boyd over there under contract. Yeah, they're going to lose T. Higgins, I think, without a doubt.
Yeah. I think it's already already the tea leaves is out there a little bit that, they're reporting that he's asking for something outrageous. He wants number 1 money. So like you say, CD is coming up. CD going to want to get paid. Trayvon Diggs is going to want to get paid. Micah
going to kill the
get
market.
paid. And that leads me to thinking, I know how much we love Tony Pollard, right? And then that brings us to a tough decision with him and Zeke. Like, obviously, I just think the writing's on the wall, man. I'm sorry, fan favorite. I'm ready to move on from Zeke, man. How you feeling on that, man?
I'm not. I still find Zeke important. I do. The price is terrible. One, it would break my heart to see him play somewhere else. Sure. Like, Zeke's my guy. But just like seeing Emmett with the Cardinals, like that was kind of wild. You know what I mean? But Zeke, I don't think he's near retirement. I think there's like another year or 2 left in the tank. And if he can just take the appropriate deal, man, not veteran minimum, but just bring it down, buddy. Like, you got one over on us, let us get one over on you, pretty much.
I mean, it's tough, man, because right. One thing we could say about Jerry is he hasn't always been able to separate the personal and the business. It's been a lot of players that he's held on for too long. And Tyron is kind of leading to the point where he may be another one. You know what I mean? And
that one hurts.
It hurts, and it hurts to see him go somewhere else. But it's like I got to pose this question to you: like, can you draft a guy to do what Zeke does?
Oh, don't erase all that, because if we can get Bijan Robinson in the first round, Zeke.
But not even a Bijan Robinson though. Like, Zeke is our. Let's just be fair. He's our goal line back. He has a nose for the end zone. 4th and 1, 4th and 2, he's in there. But first down and third down, majority of the time, we need Pollard to get those touches now. So it's like, can Malik Davis come in there? Do we draft another guy, bring another guy in there? Almost like, look, Jamal Williams got picked up on the open market last season for pennies.
I was just about
Brian
to say
Robinson got picked up in the third. You know what I mean? And Kenneth Walker, and I think Kenneth Walker was a 2nd round pick. But even so, man, these guys are a dime a dozen. And you talk about making room. Pollard is obviously going to get the franchise tag. We keeping him around. Like, do you think we should just reshuffle the deck? I wish we could get it with John Robinson. I tell everybody kick rocks, to be honest.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, Malik Davis, Bijan, this is y'all's backfield.
I love Pollard, though. I do. Hope he bounce back.
But he's going to deserve a lot more money than whatever Jerry ends up giving him.
Oh, he'll get that franchise tag. And, maybe next year if he does it again, fortunately, we just have to let him walk. You know what I mean? We probably it'll be time for us to pay Micah, and you know which way we're leaning with that decision. So
I don't know. I feel like I'd rather restructure Zeke's deal than to spend a 3rd round pick on a running back when we can get another piece on the O-line or a linebacker there. Like, what if we can bring Zeke down to like $4 million? You know what I mean?
I mean,
for the next 2 years, and we can draft a starting linebacker, a starting right tackle. Terrence Steele is out. You know what I mean? Like, I just like we could do better things than draft a running back.
Yeah, I don't know how high I'm willing to draft a running back, but I'm not opposed to one and looking at looking at a different body in that room, man. I mean, one thing I will say is, Zeke is very good at what he does, but we can't ignore the
Mhm.
fact that he has lost a step. So I think as long as they limit his touches, and like you say, he takes less money, I have no problem with keeping him around. Fan favorite, I love Zeke. So it's going to be a tough decision. I'm hoping that they're able to find a middle ground. I don't really want to see him go, but I do think it's time.